By the year 115 AD, life inside a Roman frontier camp had become a study in stillness. The soldiers stationed here woke up every morning, ran through their drills, and went to sleep without ever drawing their swords in combat. For decades, the legions maintained a quiet routine, because no neighboring force even considered testing their borders. It raises a difficult question. How does a civilization controlling 3 continents rot from the inside, while its own citizens are distracted by their own success? During the Pax Romana, nearly 60 million people, roughly 1 in 4 humans alive, lived inside these borders, spanning from Britain to Egypt. This immense geography was tightly stitched together. A Gaul farmer and Judean merchant traded within a single massive economic web. Thousands of miles of deeply engineered cobblestone roads connected these distant lands faster than any society before them, while massive aqueducts carried clean water into sprawling urban centers. This level of connectivity and peace created a feeling of permanence. To those living through it, the prospect of a collapse was unimaginable. In the capital, holding that vast territory together required a century-long streak of remarkably competent leadership. Historians call them the 5 good emperors. They utilized a system of adoption rather than bloodline inheritance. Each emperor identified the most capable administrator or general available and legally adopted them as their heir, ensuring that merit, not birthright, dictated who took the throne next. These leaders prioritized administrative efficiency and the consolidation of their borders. Instead of pushing into new territories, emperors like Hadrian built heavy stone walls to secure the lands they already held. But the stability of the entire system relied on a high wire act. Every consecutive emperor had to make a flawless decision about their replacement. One bad choice would break the chain. Beneath the marble columns and functioning courts, the Roman economy functioned as a specialized machine powered by the spoils of conquest. This flowchart tracks the staggering resources required to keep the capital running. Bread and circuses relied on inbound pipelines of Egyptian grain to feed hundreds of thousands. But conquest-based economies hit a trap. When territory acquisition stops, the influx of gold and grain slows to a trickle, even as daily consumption remains at its peak. The empire functioned like a high-speed engine that required constant forward motion. The moment its geographic borders stopped expanding, the system began to choke on its own maintenance costs. The very things making Rome look invincible, its size and its wealth, were generating internal vulnerabilities. Spanning 3 continents created a massive crisis of administrative oversight. Because messages from the frontier took weeks to reach the emperor, local governors were able to operate with total autonomy, steadily accumulating their own personal power. This vastness severely fractured the military. Legions stationed far from the capital grew loyal to individual generals who directly paid their wages and personally secured their food, rather than to the idea of Rome itself. In the cities, the free grain and entertainment that kept the population quiet also severed them from the economy. Citizens became deeply dependent on the state and economically unproductive. Looking at this geometric visualization of land ownership, we can see how the supply of free slave labor from the frontiers allowed elite estates to outcompete everyone else. Small independent farmers lost their land to massive monopolies, forcing them to move into overcrowded cities. To the average person, these structural failures looked like normal daily life inside the world's most successful civilization, masking a core that had already been hollowed out. The Pax Romana ended not as an eternal monument, but as a system where massive physical infrastructure had become a crushing liability. Empires rarely fall from a single dramatic invasion. They fracture from 100 small internal cracks that are ignored because everything on the surface still looks golden. The foundation had already shifted under the weight of its own success. Rome was now just waiting for the moment the meritocracy failed and the wrong leader took over. In Episode 2, we go inside the moment those cracks broke open. First, succession chaos, a currency crisis, and mutinies within the legions. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. What do you think was Rome's biggest hidden weakness? Drop a comment below.